Hi, if you're a patron on Patreon, then first off, thank you so much for your support. You are amazing. And secondly, you may have already seen this. This is what I'll be coding today, and I should get started with it because it's something that I find a bit more complicated in general, and it's probably going to take me a bit longer than the geometric kind of stuff. So yeah, we're going to have a number of sets, which is 2, and a number of dots per set, which is 3. We're going to have a loop. So for I going from 0 all the way up to the number of sets, increment this I at every step. And here we're going to have a form, and in its style, actually we're not going to set it here, we're going to set it above. On the body we can already set the number of dots, right? So everything is going to get indented, and here we're going to set in a style attribute, we're going to set a current value k, which is initially 0, and then we're going to have another loop in here. So this is going to have a different index j. Oops. Okay. It's going to go up to the number of dots, and it's going to create input type radio. They're all going to get the same name, which is going to depend on the form index. Okay, so it's going to be option set I, and we're going to have something very similar for the ID. So ID, it's also going to get the current index. Okay, and this is going to be what we'll be using here in the for attribute, okay, which ties the label to the input. So here we're going to have option j of set I don't really know what else to call them, so this is going to have to do. Checked is going to be not j. Okay, so and here I think we can also set a value, or we can, no, we're not going to set a value anymore. We're going to use this in a style element, and here we're going to have form nth of type, and here we're going to have j plus 1, because the nth of type index is 1 based, and here we'll be setting a value which is j. Now that we've done this, here both on the body and on the form and on the label, we're going to set on all of them, we're going to set display grid. Okay, so now on the form we'll be having grid template. So here we're going to set a diameter, and let's say something like this, and we're going to use that. I think we can just do, yeah, grid template cons, repeat the number of dots and that diameter. Okay, and now for the input and the label following it, we're going to set grid area. This is going to be same first row, and then we're going to have calc the value, which is 0 based, plus 1, because this should be 1 based. Okay. Actually, yeah, I will be setting it like that. So it should be something like this. Okay, so it's a bit weird. So I want them on the same first. So grid area. Oh, yes. Plus label. Okay, this does it. And I think I can just get rid of that and have grid template columns. Okay, that's good. Now, for the label itself, white space, no wrap. Okay, let's also set overflow hidden. Okay, and here we're going to set grid template. We're going to have the same diameter for the first column, and for the second column we're going to have max content. Okay, and here we're going to have a before, and this is actually going to extend a silent class which we're going to call dot. So dot content nothing. Okay, background, let's extend dot. Okay, so it should have display grid. We should have, oh, right, it's not, it's on the label. Okay, now we're going to want to have like space, so grid gap, and we're going to set it here, grid gap. It's going to be that space. Okay, we can now see it. Let's also set border radius 50% here, and let's also have a padding value, which let's say is going to be the diameter over 3. So here we're going to set padding to that, and here we'll be setting current color content box. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. Here we're going to have place self center, so it should be something like that. Let's also set here cursor pointer. Let's set opacity something lower. Okay, so something like that. Now next step is we're going to have an after, which is going to be grid area first row first column. Okay, it's going to extend a dot, as a color is going to have the third color from there, so we can now see it there. And now in the JS we're going to have add event listener change, and let's see what this is going to trigger. So we're going to get the event target, yeah. Okay, we're going to get the target parent node. Okay, and now on that parent node, the style set property, this is going to be k, and here we're going to have style, no, get computed style. Get property value. I think I should have just set the value. So I can just set the value, and it's much simpler that way. So value is j. Okay, so I can just set it like that, and now I'm going to have here transform translate, and it's going to be a calc k times the diameter plus the spacing. Okay, so it's going to be something like that. Okay, that is good, but this is only going to apply for nth of type 1. So it's only going to apply for this one, and we're also going to have a transition and transform. Let's set a transition duration. Let's set it here. Okay, so you can see it move around, and we're going to be using this, so just copy that and paste it there. We're going to make a few tiny tweaks here, but mostly the same. So now you can see that it has a bit of a bounce. So that's cool. Okay. Now something else, just a bit of prettifying. So we're going to set margin 0. Okay. We're going to make height. Actually, make this min height. Okay. Let's also set place self center. Okay, let's set background. This is going to be the first color that we have there. Okay, and for the label here, we're going to have color. So we're going to have the second one. Okay, and I think for the input we can already just switch to opacity 0, right? So you can look at this now, and it's already functional, which is good. Now for the second one, we're going to have something a bit different. So we're going to have grid column, and we're going to have span number of dots. Okay, this is going to be 2. Okay, border radius 50%. No, 0. It was already 50%. We want to reset it from 50%, and then we're going to want to have clip path. Okay, this is going to be inset, and we're going to use the padding from the top. We're going to have an offset right which is initially going to be that padding as well. Then we're going to have padding from the bottom. Then we're going to have an offset left, which is going to fall back on the padding. Then we're going to have a round. Okay, so it should look something like that. Okay, that's good. Now let's compute these offsets. So offset left is going to be calc k times the diameter plus the spacing and everything plus the padding. So this is offset left. Okay, so if I click somewhere there, okay, that should have worked. Oh, that's why it didn't work, because I can't type. So now it should work. So you can see that the left one, that's good. Now you can have something like transition property, offset right and offset left. Okay, so now if I click, oh, I need to register them, right? So here we're going to have property offset right, syntax length, initial value 0 pixels, inherits false, not needed. Okay, so then we're going to have something very similar for left. And now, okay, that looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to have something similar for offset right. This is not going to be just k, it's going to be the number of dots minus 1 minus k. So the one thing that we need to do here is, what am I doing? Okay, so it's going to be half for the animation duration. The one thing that I'll be doing here is using a different timing function, and for that I'm going to need to get the previous value. So I'm going to set a previous value here, and this is going to be the parent node style get property value k. So this is going to be the previous value, and here I'm going to get a sign, and this is going to be clamp minus 1, the difference between k, the current one, and the previous one, p, okay, and 1, and here I'm going to get a j, which is going to be calc 0.5 1 minus the sign. Okay, and I'm also going to compute a not j, which is 1 minus j. So now that I've done this, I'm going to have transition timing function, which is going to be calc j times half the animation, that animation duration, and then I'm going to have not j So let's, okay, so for some reason that didn't do it. And I don't know why. So let's see. Oh, exactly. That's why I didn't do it. Okay, so I have the difference, right? So show me now. Okay, so I have this. They change, okay. So the sign should have worked. J should have worked. So what's the problem? No, I don't care about that. I care about the after, okay? So I have that. Let's see it. So that should have been 1, okay. I'm not sure, so let's see it. Let's see our J. Initial value 0. Okay, so let's see now our J. Okay. Now it should have gone the other way. But for some reason, some awkward reason, it's not working. If I reverse them, does it work? No. What's my transition timing function? No, the transition timing function doesn't get set. That's the whole thing about it. And that's so weird. It's like there's something wrong there and I can't see it. So that's supposed to be a calc. Okay, transition timing function. That looks just fine to me. Okay, breathe. Let's not do it as a shorthand, okay? So let's just do it as transition. And we're going to have okay, let's reverse them because I think I had them fine. So yeah, lesson learned, you can run into trouble with long hands, use the short hands. I don't know. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I'll stop playing with it now because this is all that I wanted to share for today. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you like the work that I've been putting out for almost 9 years now, please consider supporting it so I can continue. You can do so by being a cool cat and becoming a patron on Patreon. The link is going to be in the description. Or you can get me something off my Amazon wishlist. Again, the links are going to be in the description. Or you can at least share this to show the world what can be done with CSS these days. Because honestly, I think it's pretty damn cool. In any event, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye!